It started with a flagpole and ended with a gun. Yeah, you heard me right. Some stories get more absurd the longer you live in them. And trust me, I never pictured my life twisting into a full-blown HOA standoff. But here I am, watching Patricia Moffat, lips always pursed, clipboard glued to her hand like it's a badge of honor, standing at the edge of my gravel driveway, eyes locked on the steel flagpole my brother planted like it offended her ancestors. Remove it by morning, or we start daily fines. 500 per day. Non-negotiable, she said, and I swear, you could almost hear the dollar signs in her voice. Behind me, my niece Leia shifted her weight, calm as ever, arms folded, silent. But I could feel the tension humming in her, like the air before a thunderstorm. Patricia had no idea who she was talking to, and even less of a clue who she just threatened. This property isn't under your jurisdiction, I said. That flagpole's not coming down. Patricia scoffed like I'd just told her the sky was green. Every lot in Lake Dyer Reserve is subject to HOA regulation. Except this one, I shot back. Grandfathered boundary, 1991. Read your maps. And she still didn't get it. The niece she just pointed a gun at? County sheriff. Yeah, that happened. If you've ever wanted to stand up to a bully with nothing but the law and a stubborn streak, stick around, because this is about to get wild. Patricia's fingers twitched on that clipboard. A beat too long passed before she could answer, and it was right then I knew. She was used to people folding. You can't just ignore the rules. She tried, but the words didn't land. You can't enforce what doesn't apply. I stepped forward, close enough she had to tilt her chin up. And I'm not ignoring anything. I'm documenting everything. That's the thing about me. I'm Daniel Rohr, licensed land surveyor, GIS analyst. I draw the lines people fight over. I've watched grown men weep when I proved their fence was 3 inches onto county land, seen highways rerouted because of my pen. But none of that mattered the day my brother died and left me this house, this patch of dirt, this flagpole he welded together post-surgery, hands shaking so bad he had to brace his arm on the sawhorse. He said it was memory metal, every weld, every grind, every stubborn inch, holding every goodbye he never got to say. And now Patricia wanted it gone. Where are you watching from? Because here, in Lake Dyer Reserve, the HOA Queen Karen pointed a gun at my niece, not knowing she was the law. And this was just the beginning. People like Patricia, they run on fear, counting on silence and on folks just being too tired to fight. But I'm not most people. See that bench under the willow? The board called it unregistered landscape furniture, said it was cluttering up the neighborhood's vibe. My brother carved that from stone with one good hand and half a spine left. It's not decor. It's proof. It's a marker, like a gravestone, for everything honest and ugly and hard-earned that happened here. Patricia didn't flinch when she made her threats, but neither did Leia. She just stared at her, that tired steel in her eyes, like she'd seen worse on a Tuesday. I started mapping. Every inch of Lake Dyer, every real HOA boundary, every fake citation, every time-stamped threat. This isn't about grass height or mailbox colors anymore. It's about lines. Legal ones. Moral ones. And Patricia just crossed both. Next morning, Patricia didn't show, but someone left an envelope taped to my door. Red HOA stamp, no return address, no postage, just a list of violations half a phone book thick. Mailbox shape? Wrong. Gravel? Wrong kind. Flagpole? Non-regulation. Bench? Unauthorized. No record of Leia as an approved resident. Underlined twice. This wasn't about order, it was about power. Lake Dyer's just a machine greased by ritual compliance. Same mulch, same porch lights, every car lined up like soldiers. But order without a boundary? That's just control. Leia stepped out, coffee in hand, looked at the paper, and just shook her head. They're not letting this go. They're doubling down, I said. She stared into her mug for a second, then said, they filed a report on me. Claimed I was trespassing on HOA property while armed. I actually laughed. You're kidding. But she wasn't. Internal Affairs flagged it, kicked it right back to her department. Patricia didn't know Leia was family, just saw a woman with a badge who didn't belong. That's when I realized this wasn't just about us. It was coordinated harassment. The more I dug, the more stories I heard. Mr. Howaren, 3 streets down, fined $250 for decorative edging on his wife's flower bed. Ripped it out, said nothing. Didn't want board members banging on the door. The couple across the street had to remove their solar panels. Legal under state law. But Patricia said they disrupted community harmony. They didn't fight. But me? I started turning every threat into a data point. Her arrogance was making my case for me. But it wasn't just about us. That evening, I spotted a sign staked in the lawn. Pending violation in review by board. Not legal, not county sanctioned, just pure theater to make you feel like you'd lost before you started. Leia yanked it up, tossed it in the garage, and that was that. But I saw Mr. Howaren watching, nodding from his mailbox. Not a wave, not a smile, just a nod, like, finally. You know what I mean? Once someone stands up, the spell breaks. I ran into Jerome Kessler, the HOA's so-called security guy, at the pond. Arms crossed, vest zipped up like armor. Didn't think she'd actually do it, he muttered, when I mentioned the gun. He stared at the water, a heron standing still as a statue at the edge. She's never gone that far before. I told him, she's not just a volunteer, she's an elected official, and you're a witness to an armed threat against law enforcement. Jerome's hands shook. I served, he said, Army, 2 tours. Came home with metal in my hip. I thought this would give me purpose. I told him, if you stay silent, Patricia walks away. If you speak up, maybe you sleep better. He didn't answer, but he didn't walk away, either. Then the threats got official, letterhead, signatures, threats of legal action and property liens. Patricia was escalating, folding every old complaint into one big violation packet. She wanted to bait us into overreacting so she could play the victim. I wasn't biting. I filed a public zoning map overlay request with the county GIS office. Let her send all the letters she wanted. I was going to bury her in facts. And then Patricia went full petty. She nailed a citation to the willow tree. Not taped, nailed. Violation, unauthorized fixture, bench must go in 48 hours. Leia stared at the nail hole and just said, this wasn't protocol. This was personal. That was her mistake, making it personal. Leia reported it, recused herself, kicked off a departmental review for harassment. Now it wasn't just a fight about a flagpole. It was about overreach, about the line between power and abuse. The county zoning office started reviewing the HOA's charter boundaries. The air in the neighborhood changed, sidewalk chatter thinned, people watched us from their windows. Patricia fell silent, waiting for me to make a mistake. Instead, I mapped the exact setback from the flagpole, the location of the bench. I pulled the original landscaping codes, the failed amendments. By sunrise, I had a file that would make a city planner sweat. And then the call came. Mr. Rohr, your parcel is outside the HOA boundary. That map's never been challenged. No signature, no jurisdiction. Everything changed. The exemption had been filed years ago. Patricia just hoped no one would look. But I did. Leia's eyes lit up when I handed her the map. They've been fining you anyway. Yep. She shook her head. Patricia's not just overreaching, she's trespassing. Every fine, every memo, every demand, it was all unlawful. Leia's face settled into that calm, deadly quiet that means something's about to happen. This isn't just civil. It could be criminal, harassment, misuse of authority, fraud if money was collected. Let's get it documented, I said. That night, I filed the whole mess with county compliance, evidence folders, timelines, photos, emails, everything. Patricia had built her castle on no one fighting back, and I'd just torn out the foundation. The next day, a citation nailed to the tree. 2 days later, an anonymous email with the HOA's original articles, filed incorrectly, never authenticated, pure structural fraud. Somebody on the inside wanted out. I pinned the zoning overlay to the mailbox post. Didn't claim it, just let it breathe. By noon, neighbors were copying it, circling their parcels, whispering, "Is this us?" Mr. Howaren came by with a crumpled printout. "You're saying we never signed in?" "Not according to the records. We've been paying for 10 years. I handed him a form, request for county zoning review. By sundown, 33 neighbors had taken one. Patricia noticed, posted warnings about misinformation. But that night, I got the email with the HOA charter mismatch. The next morning, I walked to the community hall, HOA meeting day. The room was half empty, everyone clutching copies of maps, documents. Patricia strode in, poised, folder perfect. But her smile was off, her eyes darting. "Let's begin," she said, but the room was silent. "Are you going to address the zoning violations?" someone called out. Jerome stepped up, "Come as you please." The county confirmed, "The articles are mismatched." Patricia snapped, accused me of poisoning the community. But nobody budged. Leah stepped forward. An external review has already begun. I've submitted my statement. Slow applause spread through the room. Not a celebration, just relief. Patricia's reign was over, but the story wasn't done. The board suspended all enforcement. Arlene, the vice president, announced cooperation with the investigation. Neighbors talked, organizing for a petition to dissolve the HOA. Jerome, finally done with silence, handed me a resignation letter, dated the day Patricia drew her gun, just never had the spine to use it till now. The neighborhood was changing. People who'd been too tired, too scared, were talking again. Then came the county letter, official, certified. All citations nullified, all fines voided, Patricia's actions ruled unlawful, a public hearing scheduled. Leah stood next to me on the porch as I read it. You built it like a case file, she said. We both did, I replied. The neighborhood grew quieter, but it was a good quiet, a steady, unafraid kind. Patricia stepped down for health reasons. Arlene took interim leadership, but said she wouldn't run again. For the first time, the community felt like a community. The bench under the willows stayed right where it belonged. No tags, no memos, just initials carved underneath, softened by years. Mr. Howard's grandkids drew chalk flowers on the walkway, and nobody cared about matching pallets. Jerome stopped by, no badge, just himself. You keeping the bench? She tried to nail a citation to it. Now it's part of the record. He grinned. Feels like justice. Later that night, I found one of my brother's notebooks. Inside, a single line. Make sure she never has to fight alone. That's what this was about. Not rules. Not property lines. Dignity. Drawing a line and daring someone to cross it. And for once, the line held. If you've ever tangled with an HOA bully or stood up for what's right, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. This one's done, but trust me, there are plenty more fences to fix and a whole lot more lines left to redraw.